Hi, this is Michael Giralli with Healthcare Genius, and today we're going to be talking about the Colorado Family and Medical Leave Insurance Program. If you're a small business owner in Colorado, like other states recently, you're going to be offering paid family medical leave for your employees. So we'll walk through the details of that, but this has taken place already in states like California, Washington, Oregon, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and so forth. So we'll get started and walk through this for you. So what is it? Well, in November of 2020, Colorado voters passed Proposition 118, which basically created this program to offer paid family and medical leave coverage to employees. It's a state-run program. It'll provide up to 12 weeks of benefits to those employees who qualify. If somebody has a high-risk pregnancy, they can actually have an additional 4 weeks for a total of 16 weeks. It's going to be funded by a payroll tax, which has started this year in 2023. Most groups will be paying that come the first quarter in April of 2023. And benefits are eligible for those employees starting in 2024. So although the program's being funded today, the benefits don't actually start until January 1st of 2024. How does it work? Well, if you're an employer with less than 10 employees, so 9 or less, then you do not need to contribute to the program. Only the employees will be contributing 0.45% of their pay to help fund the cost of the program. If you're an employer with 10 or more employees, then you will also contribute 0.45% for a total of 0.9%. Now, those numbers do cap out at the Social Security wage base of $160,200 in 2023. An employee qualifies for the coverage if they've earned at least $2,500 in the previous year or current year. There are no age requirements for the program, so any employee who's working for you and hits that $2,500 mark will be eligible. It's suggested that employees provide 30 days notice to the employer. However, if they can't, then they just need to let the employer know as soon as possible. And the benefits will be paid every 2 weeks. So how do you qualify? Well, medical leave is based on a serious health condition of the employee, and this can include injury, illness, pregnancy, as we mentioned, or other conditions listed on the slides here. It can also be for family leave, where an individual is a caregiver or they're taking care of a newborn child or foster care child or an adoption of a child. And then safe leave for employees who are victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual abuse, stalking, and this includes the employee or a family member. Who's considered a family member? It's you'll see here it's fairly open-ended, but a biological adopted or foster child, stepchild, legal ward, and then somebody that you're legally married to, a grandparent. And where it gets very broad-based is any other individual with whom there's a significant personal bond. So that does definitely open up the definition of family member. What are some of the other features? Well, once an employee has worked for an employer for at least 180 days, the employer needs to guarantee their position when they come back from family leave or medical leave. So if they work less than 180 days, the employer is not required to hold that position. The employee can choose to use sick leave or PTO, but they're not required to. Another factor that will impact employers is the fact that the employer needs to continue to pay the cost sharing of healthcare premiums for that employee while they're on leave. So this is a factor that you'll have to consider. As far as collecting premiums, because that individual most likely will not be receiving a paycheck, it can be deducted from PTO if they choose to take PTO. It can also be deducted from wages when the employee returns to work. Uh, the employee could enter into a repayment plan, or the employer could collect through other means. Some of the benefits, again, we talked about 12 weeks is the maximum benefit in any calendar year, although it doesn't have to be used consecutively. It can be used throughout the year. And again, pregnancy that's high risk can add up to another 4 weeks for a total of 16 weeks. The benefits can be based on the employee's wages in the previous 4 quarters. And the maximum benefit in 2014 will be $1,100 a week. There are no waiting periods, so the employees qualify right away. It is mandatory to participate, so there is no opting out of this program as far as participation goes. Now, there are opt-out provisions from the state plan if you use a private third-party plan. So let's talk about this quickly. So if you can choose a private insurer who's approved by the state, and in that case, once you receive approval, once the insurer receives approval, and then you'll have to apply for approval of that plan as well. And if the state signs off on it, then you can use a private plan and not pay into the state fund. Now, some of the criteria is that the plan must offer the same or better benefits and protections. It must both cover the medical and the family leave type. The employer must apply, as we said, to the state. It has to be improved by the state, the insurance company does. And if you're going to self-fund, which you can self-fund the plan, you'll need to have a surety bond that meets the state's requirements. So why would you choose a private plan? Well, when looking at some of the initial quoting, even though we don't have final rules on the private plans, we're seeing that in some cases rates can be lower than that 0.9 for an employer that has 10 or more employees. So there could be some savings there. Also, in other states that have enacted these programs, we've seen some growing pains where it may take longer for employees to receive benefits. So that could be another reason, because we know that most insurers who offer these types of plans and who offer disability programs have been paying claims for quite some time. You can be reimbursed for the premiums that have been paid into the state plan if you choose to go the private route. Again, we don't know the final details on that, but we do know that you will have to apply for that reimbursement. It won't just happen. And then finally, if you have a short-term disability program that you offer to employees or that you pay for employees, there could be some savings on premiums by having both plans combined together. One thing to look at, though, from a cautionary standpoint is that if you do leave a private plan, the state's going to require you to come back into the state plan for a minimum of 3 years. And if you chose to go back out to a private plan, you'd still have to pay those 3 years worth of premiums. So you want to take that under consideration. We've got some important links here, which will be at the end of the presentation. You'll be able to look at those, and there's a place to register to sign up for the program, which hopefully most plans have already done that. There's information on the private plans. There's an employer guide and an employee guide as well. So we hope this is valuable to you. If you have questions or comments, you can post those down below. Again, we hope this is helpful. Thank you. Michael Girali with Healthcare Genius, and have a great day.